potential while addressing societal concerns. Joining me in this discussion today, we have Dominik Heinrich, the Global Head of AI Design at the Coca-Cola Company. He's also the Adjunct Professor of AI Design at the Pratt Institute and co-founder of the Creative AI Academy. We have Manish Gupta, the Senior Director of Google DeepMind, Caleb Munigety, the Head of Bosch India Enterprise AI, Avinash Joshi, the Chief Executive of India NTT Data, and Ranganath Sadasiva, Chief Technology Officer at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. Please everyone put your hands together for our fantastic panel. It's great to have you with us here today, everyone. Let's jump straight in, and I want to talk a bit about the implementation of AI in different companies. So, Caleb, why don't we start with you? How do you spot specific ways in which AI can be useful in companies and to build a roadmap?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. When we look at the various sectors that are getting affected by the usage of AI in a positive manner, it's just not one sector. It's many sectors that are getting improved with respect to their operational efficiencies that are there. Just to name a few, if you look at the health sector, so the drug discovery is getting faster, right? The personalized medication is being leveraged quite a lot by the people who are using AI. And of course, the medical diagnostics is another thing. And if you look at the manufacturing sector as such, you see there the kind of use cases that we have in the manufacturing sector, especially to do some prognostics, the diagnostics of the machinery that is there, that existing. We can actually predict when could be the downtime of the machinery that is running, and we can save a good amount of money if we put that. It's also getting into retail, e-commerce, where hyper-personalization is picking up quite rapidly. The supply chain optimization that comes into picture, massive gains if one can deploy AI. But one word of caution here. When we are putting AI in the center to do all of this efficiency gains, right? At the end of the day, it's a kind of a tool that we are using as an enabler. But at the end of the day, the decision makings that happen, right, in the boardrooms and all of that, also have to do with the experiential relevance of the people when they are looking at the real world cases. I give this classic example wherein you can end up having a simple optimization problem with good conducive constraints to solve it, but you can also have an optimization problem which has conflicting constraints and conflicting objectives, and then you end up having an NP-hard problem where there is no solution from the tools. That's where I think the experience added to the enablement of the AI will be making a big difference in these various sectors that I talked about. So that's great.
I just want to move on to talk about jobs as well, because this is something that comes up time and time again. Over the next sort of 5 years, and I realize that future predictions are tricky, but over the next 5 years, what industries do you think are going to see the most opportunities from AI, and which ones are going to see the most disruptions? Caleb?
So this also goes back to the first question that we discussed, like what are the sectors that are getting impacted, benefited, and so on and so forth. But for me, a more thought-provoking question is something like, is AI going to be a kind of a job terminator? I don't think so. It, at the most, will be a kind of a job transformer, right? So at the end of the day, how we are wanting to upskill ourselves, reskill ourselves, right? So that we are up and ready for the kind of new job profiles that are coming up will make a big difference. And even in the case of Industrial Revolution, what did it do? It made people to walk from farms to factories, right? So it's basically a transformation of the job profile. The core of it is how we are able to get to a point of saying that, yes, we are having enough skills to be able to transform ourselves with the kind of the transformation that is happening in the jobs. So that would be the kind of the thing. And that goes across the board, across the sectors. And if that is taken care of, and if organizations invest in it, and there are good incentives, there is a conducive workplace for AI learning and practicing AI, I think there is no sector that will be untouched with AI, is what my opinion is.
Yeah.
Regulatory frameworks part, right? Why do we in the first place require a regulatory framework? Because we are worried about if there is something harmful that is going to come out of AI. In these sort of aspects, right, I'm reminded of a conversation between two philosophers. One was a big proponent of either or theory. The other was a big proponent of both this and that theory. So it's as simple as that. You choose and pick one or the other, or you pick up both of them. And one of the philosophers who was proponent of this either this or that theory asked the guy who was a proponent of both this and theory to pick up between these two choices. So the philosopher said that I will always go with both this and that. Then the first philosopher said that even though you are a big proponent of it, and if you are given a choice to choose both, you only pick one, right? So the dichotomy is that we are always used to this kind of an either this or that philosophy. But when it comes to the regulatory framework, when I look at it, it should be a global framework that has to be there, because there should be a common understanding how it goes, right? But at the same time, we should also look at how the regional things are playing out. So both intertwined will give us a good framework is how I see it. And it should not be a finger pointing, because this is a kind of a space which is not so much chartered all around. We are also learning with the things that we are doing on a day-to-day basis. The experience matters. The knowledge dissemination, the deliberations, the discussions that should happen across the multiple stakeholders will actually give us a good way of coming up with these sort of regulatory frameworks is what my thought process is. So as Manish was pointing out, it's actually, there is a divided opinion on this, because the definition of AGI itself is not very clear as of now. And people are already talking about just not AGI, but super intelligent AI, right? I would like to say that we are at the juncture where we are moving from narrow AI to AGI, right? But then only time will tell when will we achieve it. But then for that, I am just reminded of how do we even define general intelligence. So you remember this, one of the great chess players, Garry Kasparov, was put against Deep Blue, right? And then he lost it. And people after that said that, okay, fine, we have achieved the human intelligence in the computer. One of the guys who was putting his views out, he said that, see, at least Garry Kasparov had feelings of sadness after he lost. Does that machine have that feelings? Is it planning to take deep pink for a date on that night after it won? No, right? So to really say that it has achieved general intelligence or it will go to super intelligence, it's like a far-fetched thing. And the opinions are formed. I would say that it is either opti-pessimistic or pesi-optimistic kind of a picture is where we are in.
Caleb, I want to hear from you, and then also from your academic perspective as well.
Just to add on the fundamental knowledge part, there is this humorous illustration between Holmes and Watson. So one day on a camping trip, they were sound asleep inside a tent after having some heavy liquid refreshment. In the middle of the night, Holmes wakes up, nudges Watson, asks him to look into the sky. And he asks, what do you see? So Watson says, I see stars and more stars. So Holmes asks Watson, what does that mean for you? So he starts answering it this way. He says, astronomically, it tells me that there are potentially billions of planets and millions of galaxies. Astrologically, it tells me that Saturn isn't Leo. Meteorologically, it tells me that tomorrow would probably be a beautiful day. Orologically, it tells me that it's about 2:45 in the morning. And theologically, it tells me that this is a vast universe and we are just a tiny part of it. So he asked back Holmes, what do you think? Holmes says, Watson, you idiot, somebody has stolen our tent. So the fact of the matter is, the AI as a tent can fly, but the pegs that we actually put to it, which are nothing but the fundamentals like what Manish was saying, in terms of the optimization algorithms, the probability and statistics theories that are there, are actually forming the fundamentals of AI to fly like that. So if we hold that as a grip, then we can actually master AI and then go forward and then leverage it to our own usages that we have.